With every coaster that I've recreated, I have first started with building a custom station. The details and moving pieces in the station give a lot of personality to the coaster, along with showing that I can do more than just track shaping and supports. So today I'm going to show you step by step what I do to build my stations and give you some tips and tricks on how to make your stations work well and look better. The first and possibly most important step in building your station, and probably even the whole roller coaster, is to establish a grid. Over here, my neighbor is building a coaster that isn't on a grid, and it just doesn't look as clean, and the pieces don't line up as well. When building a station, I prefer to do a yellow by yellow grid. That means that you have a yellow piece across and a yellow piece deep. Literally everything I'm going to show you in this video is going to work best on this scale. And now, I call that a yellow piece even though it isn't, because generally that size of rod comes in yellow. However, I'm not using yellow because I'm recreating the demon here, which the station for the demon is pretty much all black. And so wherever I can, on the railings, the gates, the track, I'm going to use the darkest colors that I can, just to make it look cleaner. Your station should be at least 3 grid sections wide and 3 grid sections deep. So for reference, this is the size of 1 grid section. And because the demon station is pretty big, I made it 4 of those across and then 3.5 deep. Generally, I do 3 by 3 so that you have enough room to put your track in the middle and to fit your whole train on there. And then you have like a side for unloading and for your queue and your gates. So step 2, before I even build up the sides or put in the track, I am working on the gates. I've gone through a few different gate systems. This was the one that I used on the Little Dipper. I have a rod right here that I'm just pushing to open and close the gate. Pretty simple. Since then, it has gotten a lot more complex. The one that I have right now is probably my favorite because it actually opens a full 90 degrees and is pretty smooth. The way this works is that I have these 2 clips like this that are sitting right on that rod, and it is pushing, it's connecting to this piece right here that is connected to the axle that the gate is on. And so when I pull this back, it pushes the gate open. There's a little bit more to it than that. Underneath you can't really see it, but there is a piece right here. And that piece is on another axle right here that makes sure that this isn't wiggling back and forth that way. And so it's able to just slide like that. I have another rod that's then connected right there. And this one is making sure that all of these gate sections are spaced accordingly so that the gates are all open and closed at the same time and that they all line up. So that's the basic version of how this works. I'm going to show you just like another angle so that you can use this as kind of like a template when you're building your coaster. So now I get to the part where I put in the track. Whenever you're doing straight track for a launch, station, lift, brake run, always use this method right here. It will make your life so much easier because it will ensure that your track is always straight. It's easily adaptable. Like right now, I have those white pieces on there to make sure that it will fit on the yellow by yellow scale. You can change it out so it's on a blue by blue scale or whatever. And also, it will save you from the moments where, like on my neighbor's coaster, this happens. And it will make it look so much cleaner because you can move those yellow adapter pieces to any part on that rod and it will stay perfectly straight. I like to put chain in my stations so that I can control the speed of the car and stop it in front of the gates when I want to. This means that I have to have enough room under the station for the sprocket to spin freely under there. And I also need to put a brake in the spinal track so that it doesn't overlap the sprocket. And then also, you should put these chain guides on occasionally so that you keep the chain in the very middle of the track. So a tip to make your chain as smooth as possible, you're going to want this angle from the top of the track to the top of the sprocket to be as low as possible. That should be like, ideally that would be straight from right there to right there. So when I put train on here, you can see this is going really smooth. However, if I were to put my train on here and then hold down, that's a really choppy chain now, and it doesn't flow as smoothly. You'll also notice I have this green flexi rod right here. That is the current brake system that I'm using. Right here on my model, I have this train on here that is actually, you'll see the brake is making contact with the bottom of the wheel, and so slowing it down. Only put the brake on one side, because if you put it on both sides, the train is actually kind of leaning a little bit because of that. And if you put it on both sides, it won't work as well. It'll have way too much friction then. This gives it just enough friction that the chain can still pull it forward, but it's not just blown through the station like my Superman model did. I do my floors and railings like so. There's not much to them. Just try to keep a pattern going. Here I've got my operator's box, and I got my Q line things right here. And then I also I changed up the floor just a little bit right here next to the track so that I have enough room for the train to fit right in between there, but also like have the track come right out to where the train is, but not actually touch it. The rest of the detailing is really up to you and whatever the station actually looks like. The Demon doesn't really have a roof on the station. It has a trellis kind of thing like this, and actually I think I put that on the wrong side. But if you look at like my Superman station, my Max Force station, I just looked at a picture of what the station looks like, and I built it off of that. I use cardboard in my Raging Bull station. I built stairs for a few of my stations, like the little dipper right here. So yeah, the rest of this is really up to you. So one other quick element I'm going to show you that isn't on the Demon, but I have used before when I built Superman, is that cool, like the floor dropping out from under you on inverted coasters kind of thing. I built a quick model to show you how that works. Again, it's on the yellow by yellow grid, so that when this like part where the floor is dropping out, that's actually on a blue by yellow, or you can do a blue by blue grid. And simply put, you have these, I'm not even sure what to call these, just pieces connecting the floor to your grid that can turn, and so when they do, the floor kind of drops out. And just have a lever connected to make that turn. When I made Superman, I actually had enough space underneath that I could run a chain under the whole station and connect that directly to the floor part. So I was actually pulling on the floor to bring it down instead of turning that piece on the end. So there's two different ways you can do it. I hope this video was helpful for you, that you learned something from it about coaster building. If you still have any questions or you want me to elaborate on something, please drop a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And good luck on building your next coaster.